Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to my QBD melee guide. I hope you enjoy. This video is going to be split up into several sections, annotations on the screen right about now that can take you to all of the video. I'm going to leave these annotations up throughout the entire duration of the video. That way you can just turn on and off the annotations and hop around to whatever section in whatever order you like. So, please enjoy, and thank you for watching. Okay, so let's get started with the armor. So I'm just wearing my my regular Torva. You don't have to wear Torva. I'm gonna list a bunch of suggestions for other armors, and everything else here can be exchanged for a different level, depending on what you can afford and well, what your defense level actually is. So let's get started. I'm going to skip the aura until the last bit this time. Cape doesn't really matter. I only have skill cape, so if you have the fight kiln cape, go with that because it gives more armor, I think, and I'm not sure if it does if it gives you a strength bonus or anything, but yeah. So kiln cape would be the best for this. Prayer cape second best because the armor, the crit, and the little prayer bonus. Third best would probably be the cape you get from killing Nomad. I still don't know what the name of that is, but I'll figure it out someday. Okay, so for the amulet, I'm just using a Fury. If you really want to spend your money for that extra 0.2% melee crit, go ahead and buy that Murmur. I think it is. I don't even know. Murmur or the Wisp. I think it's the Murmur though. So Fury. This is just fine. I think it's only about 3 mil. If you can't afford that, downgrade to the... actually, I think the Murmur might be a little less expensive just because it's only one. It only boosts one attack style. So if you can't afford the Fury, go for the Murmur. If you can't do that, just go Glory, man. Go for the Glory. Now, next for the weapons. I'm using a chaotic maul, and that is because I really like the maul, and I have a great setup for it. And I've used dual rapiers, but I don't like them here. I don't know why. I don't find them as effective. I find myself spending more time on the kill and consuming more food when I'm using the dual rapiers. However, if you don't have a chaotic maul and you're doing two-handed, go for a God Sword. I don't know what the difference in the God Swords are, but for some reason, Ceramic God Sword is 32 mil, so go with that one. But go for a God Sword if you're doing two-handed. If you have Drygors, I'm not sure which one is best. I've heard that the fast DPS is actually better than the fastest. Don't ask me how that's possible. I just heard it as a rumor. So I'd go with the dual long swords, because of the accuracy. That is my only reasoning as to why the Drygors would be better than a Maul here, is because they are much more accurate. And accuracy is key for fighting QBD here. So I'll talk about that a little more in depth later when I'm actually fighting her, when I'm showing you what's going on. Okay, so next we've got just gloves. I have Bandos gloves. If you can swap that out for Torva. Yeah, that's pretty much it. No, you can, since the gloves, boots, and the helmet don't affect accuracy, you can go with, I'd say, whatever is best for range defense, so which would be melee. But if you can't afford the melee version, like say you can't afford the Torva gloves, for example, I'd go with Pernix. Because they give more health bonus, and they're more equipped to deal with the range defense. As you'll see here, my block is 37% range, which is great because the QBD's main hits are range and melee, but they're mostly range. So yeah, go for the melee or range defense bonuses. In my case, it would be Bandos gloves. For the ring, I have just a simple warrior ring. However, I'm going to show you in the inventory section. You're also going to need one more ring, if you want, but I'd go with the warrior ring. It's just fine. Otherwise, just bring your ring of wealth. I'm not sure if it affects the loots because I've never seen the your ring of wealth glows brightly or whatever. However, when you are looting, since it is a loot from a chest, the ring of wealth should affect it, but I'm not sure. So if you can't afford a warrior ring or a berserker ring, go for the ring of wealth. Or if it's your first time and you really don't want to die, you could just bring a ring of life, but it doesn't really matter because all of your stuff will spawn outside of the entrance, but I'll get to that. So helm, I'm using the Hayrack's helm because I'm poor, he said with Torva. Anyways, like I said, you want range defense, so Hayrack's helm. If you can't afford that Torva helm, go for Pernix. The Pernix, I don't even know what it's called, but just go for the Pernix helmet. Another substitute for Hayrack's helm would be the Bandos helmet. I'm just not using that because I find the Hayrack's helm gives a little more armor and life bonus, so I'm just using a little less food. However, Bandos helmet does give a damage boost, a slight damage boost. So if you want to experiment with that, go ahead. Next, for the body, I'm using a Torva plate body. A good substitute would be Bandos, or even better, Tetsu. Gives more armor. However, there is no. I don't think there's a damage boost with Tetsu. For some reason, I haven't looked into it, but there is one with Bandos, as I'm sure you know. So go with that. You still get a little prayer bonus if you're using Bandos. However, you will be using slightly more food with it, I find. And if you can't afford any of that, I just go to Bandos, go watch the other video, and make some cash for Bandos. Bandos from scratch it there, and then go to QBD. The shield, you're not using one. It's either really a two-handed weapon, or like the Maul, or God Sword, or dual Drygors, which are better. Just clarifying. Now for the legs, Torva plate legs, Tetsu's fine. It's even better really, because of the armor and the life bonus. Or Bandos, if you can't afford either of those. Now the boots, like I said, they don't affect your accuracy, and you want range defense. So I'm just going with Bandos boots. If you can afford Torva boots, go with those. Otherwise, get some range thing. You can do Steadfast to work just fine. In fact, they're even better than Bandos boots. You could do Glavins as well. They also give a little more range defense. They're better than Mage Fires. Is that what it's called? Rage Fires. Mage Fires. They're better than those for the block. Excuse me. However, I'm just going with the Bandos boots because I don't have enough money for them. As you can tell by my small cash stack right now. All my money went into this QBD thing, so I've spent, I think, about over 900 rocktails, and yeah, I've killed her, I think, 160 sometimes already. I've got all of the loots in my bank, so at the end of this video, I'll have her killed 200 times, and I'm going to show you all the loots from that, and show you how profitable it is. Okay, so that's about everything. Oh, no, I'm sorry. One last thing. Penance is the aura I'm using. You can also use the Vampirism one if you don't have Penance. But Penance is amazing here because you just take so much damage. You don't need a prayer potion at all. However, I always like to bring one just in case. But we'll get there. So let's move on to the inventory. Okay, so when you're gearing up here, I'm just going to do the overload setup right quick. It's one overload, one prayer renewal, and one super anti-fire. Always bring the super anti-fire. I actually killed her once without any. I was surprised. End of story. So once you get those, you're going to want to go find your, where is it? Ring of Wealth. Like I said, this is the other ring you're going to need. I'm not sure if it affects your drop rate, although it should, but I'm not sure. So I bring it anyways. I've never actually gotten a rare drop table without this Ring of Oath, so I figure why not. It only takes one more inventory space. You don't really need that food once you get good at it. So anyways, food, this is all you're going to need pretty much if you have the Penance Aura. Otherwise, you're going to want, I find, four prayer potions works well. If you do it fast enough, sometimes you'll have a little extra, which is just fine. Better safe than sorry. If you have the Penance Aura, I only like to bring one. Otherwise, make it 4. So this is all you need really in your inventory. I don't bring a telly out just because if you die, your grave is right outside. It's easily accessible, unlike in God Wars. So you're just going to want to load up on the best food you have. I use rocktails, and I say the best food because I do sharks. I find with this setup I get about 4 kills per trip. With sharks I get about 2 or 3, and that's because you need as much adrenaline as possible when you're doing this kill. So sharks, you have to eat more, which brings your adrenaline lower, which sucks. So I use rocktails. You can use rocktail soup if you really want to go all out, but it's not really needed. It's not necessary. At the beginning, you might want to bring rocktail soups just because you're just gonna get so shat on. I say that so many times, but it's really a learning experience, and you'll get better as you go. So this is the setup. Oh, some frosty bones. Wow, bank loot. Anyways, this is the setup. I'm just gonna get my familiar out as well. You're gonna want to use the best beast of burden familiar you have, which in my case would be the War Tortoise, as I'm only 90 summoning. If you have a yak, that's even better. You can stay for even longer. It's going to be better in the beginning too, because you're going to go through a lot of food in those first kills. You're probably only going to be averaging about 1 kill per inventory in the beginning, 1 or 2 if you're lucky. Just stick with it. Like I said, learning curve. It's a bell curve, kind of. So you're going to want to load your Beast of Burden up with all food. No prayer potions. You only need the 4 or 1 if you have Penance Aura. So just load them up with your rocktails or sharks. Like I said, rocktails are best. And fill up your inventory with rocktails. You don't necessarily need to bonfire for this. I just find it takes up a little more time. If you want to in the beginning, go ahead. Bonfiring is just fine. But I'm not going to for the sake of this video. And once your inventory looks like this, ignore the tortoise. I'm not actually going to go to QBD right now, which is why I haven't loaded up my tortoise. I'm going to make this video in a different time. So once your inventory looks like this, you can go off right ahead to QBD, which I will show you how to get to in a moment. Alright, so now I'm going to show the non-overload method. So if you don't have overloads but you do have extremes, or you have potted to be able to make them, which would be having extremes. Never mind. Anyways, if you have extremes, or if you don't have extremes, and just bring a superset, super strength, attack, defense. You're going to be in this order anyways. Bring extreme attack, strength, and defense. If you're new to this, you might want to bring lower doses, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just showing the same method over again. Then you are going to, I'm just going to bring my Ring of Wealth, just because I always like to have it in this corner, a little OCD. And you're still going to bring the 4 prayer potions. Oh, and don't forget your prayer renewal. It is key to. Otherwise, if you don't bring the prayer renewal, you're going to go through more prayer, obviously, and unless you have penance. But still, I still bring prayer renewal with penance. So this is the setup. If you a little messy, because it's one here, a little OCD as well. But if you have OCD, get overloads. Otherwise, this works just as fine. What you're gonna do is, well, I'll get there. I'll get there, man. Now, after that, once you have all those potions, just fill the rest of your inventory up with food. That's what I used to do. Then fill up your Beast of Burden with food as well. I just want to make a quick note. The Beast of Burden thing, if you are wondering how a unicorn works here, I have used it. I find you go through a little less food just because you have the unicorn to heal you, but unfortunately it does drain from your stamina now every time you do that, so it might as well just go with the tortoise or the yak, whatever you have, because the rocktails heal more than the unicorn does. So you'll actually, in a sense, be using less stamina. So just go with your Beast of Burden. Screw the unicorn. Alright, so let's talk action bar. First one I'm going to do is the two-handed setup. And so first thing you're going to want to have on your action bar is the food. Whatever food you use. Now I'm using rocktails in this case. I suggest rocktail or higher, like I said before, but that's up to you. So you're going to want to have the rocktail, unlike Bandos, which is just having the food near your hand at all times, you're going to want to have the food under one of your fingers at all times, because shit's intense, bro. So yeah, have the food readily available. And next is just a slew of non-threshold abilities I have. There is no particular order here. In fact, I actually tell you the order I use my abilities in, at least for the first phase. That'll be later on when I'm actually killing QBD. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say I have Slice on here, Sever, in this order by the way, Punish, Smash, Fury, skipping past the 2 threshold abilities, Dismember, and Anticipation. Now, you are going to want to have as many non-threshold abilities on here as possible, so you can get as much adrenaline as possible, so you can release those thresholds, and the ultimate, which I have on here too, I'll get to in a second. So next, once you put all those on there, you're going to want to have Assault. This is on the W key, which, if you're looking at the screen right now, and then Hurricane. These threshold abilities, I find you don't really use many threshold abilities here actually, besides Assault. Yeah, well, at least with the two-handed weapon setup. So Hurricane and skipping over to Quake, which is T, I don't use them too much. I'll use them to dispatch the spirits occasionally, but other than that, Assault is the main one. So finally, I have Berserk, which is the ultimate. Now you're going to want to have Berserk on here because it's going to get you through Phase 2 and Phase 4. Yeah, Phase 1 and Phase 4, or 2 and 4. My bad. But I'll get there when I'm killing her. I'll tell you everything you need to know. So make sure you have Berserk on the action bar. Otherwise, it's not going to work with the setup we're going with here. Okay, on to the two-handed weapon action bar. So you're going to want to have the Rocktail readily available. Unlike Bandos, my Bandos guide, where I just had it near my hand, you're going to want to have your food under one of your fingers at all times, just because it's pretty intense here, and you're going to need it for quite a few things. One of them being eating, the other one being also eating, and the third one, you guessed it, it's eating. So let's move on to the non-threshold abilities. There's no particular order here. I just have them strung on here because I can't be bothered to pick a better setup for my my number pad and whatnot. So anyways, I have non-threshold abilities are Slice, Sever, Havoc, Dismember, Fury, Punish, and skipping over to Anticipation, in that order. So you're going to want to have all these non-threshold abilities on here simply to build adrenaline for the threshold abilities and for the ultimate. It sounds weird, but I'll get to it when I'm showing you me killing her. That is when I'm actually going to talk a lot about what order to use these in and everything. Actually, I'm not going to be doing a what order to use these in because I have not. I have killed her with dual rapiers, but I'm not very good at it. So I unfortunately I can't provide extra information about killing her for that. But you should still watch the kill anyways because it's going to provide a lot of information about how to do everything and how to do everything. So skipping on to the threshold abilities, I have in this order Assault, Destroy, Flurry, and that's it. There's only 3. Assault is the main one. Assault and Destroy are really the main ones, as they do a lot of damage. And Flurry, I'd just use it to dispatch the spirits occasionally. But other than that, other than the threshold abilities, you're gonna have Berserk as the ultimate. This is the same thing for the two-handed weapon. Berserk gets you through phase 2 and phase 4, and like I said, I'll get to that during the actual kill. So let's get started. Okay, now to get to the QBD, Queen Black Dragon's Lair, no quest is required. Just so you know, you don't need a quest. I think you need 70 summoning though to have access to her, but that's the only requirement, I believe. However, if you, the quest is called Songs from the Depth. That's the one that's actually related to the Queen Black Dragon. And if you do that quest, you'll get the Coral Crossbow with. If you add the 4 other parts to it, you can make it into the beloved Royal Crossbow. So it's worth doing. It's a short quest. I did it in, I think, 10-15 minutes. It's really easy. So easy. So anyways, this is how you get to her. Port Sarim, tele to the lodestone if you have it open. If not, just do your cabbage port or whatever. Or I think you can teleport to play around ports with the manual, the captain's log, I think it's called. And you're just going to want to run right to this white knight camp over here. And then you're going to go into the dungeon. There's a little mini obelisk here if you want to refill your summoning points. And there's also an altar down here if you need to refill your prayer. So once you're in here, you're going to want to run right down here through this. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It's not as big as I thought it was. This is the whole cave. There are shortcuts that take you to where you want to go. This is the entrance to the Queen Black Dragon's lair. This is where you start out. You're going to run right down here and make a left at the first opening, and you're going to want to go right to this shortcut, which, as you can see, takes you right across the entire thing, and it puts you right down there next to some bigger grot worms and I think they're level 140, and the lair, like I said. Now I'm just going to show that real quick in a sped up version so you can see. Okay, so right quick before we go in, let's talk about prayers and curses. If you're on curses, you're going to want to have Turmoil, Soul Split, and Protect Item. If you can't do that, then if you don't have Soul Split or Turmoil, just switch on Protect from Range. Same with prayer, regular prayers, Protect Item, and Protect from Range Pray. I can't think of the names. I haven't used prayers in forever. So once you head on inside, you can go ahead and pot up right when she raises her head, and eat up to full if you haven't already. Restore your prayer with some potions, turn your quick prayers on, and get ready for this insaneness, which I'm about to tell you right now. So I'm going to pause it right here. In the first phase here, there's only one special attack you need to watch out for, but I'll get to that when she does it. And throughout the first phase, you're going to want to build up your adrenaline to full for the second phase, and you're also going to want to use Assault on this phase. So a good combination for two-handed weapons, this is the combination I use, by the way. It would be Sever, Smash, Anticipation, Dismember, Punish, and then Fury. And you're going to let Fury run its course, let Fury go until it's done. By then Smash should be ready again, so you're going to hit Smash, then Punish, and then go for Assault. And then for the rest of the kill, you're just going to keep spamming those basic abilities until you're on to the second phase. This is one of the Queen Black Dragon's special attacks. She takes a huge breath. It'll appear in the chat box this reddish color. You'll also see her recoil to actually take the breath. And it's not one of the more deadly ones, although it does happen quite often, I find. So it is avoidable, but this right here, another pause. This is what the flame wall looks like. As you can see in the more to the right, there's a little gap in the wall. If you run through that, or just stand in that space when it goes past you, you won't take any damage. Otherwise, if you're standing still and you tank that flame wall, you will get hit by 2 750s. If you run through the flame wall, you will get hit with only 1 750. Or, like I said, you take no damage by standing in that gap. And there's also another method I'll show you a little later on to completely take no damage without standing in that gap at all. So here I was forced to tank it just because I was in the middle of an ability. And now here's my Assault, hopefully, and almost done with this phase. I had to use Assault a little late just because I was hitting so well with the other abilities. So just keep doing that. See, I got through that gap, no damage was taken. Just keep using your basic abilities. You want to have as close to a full action bar as possible here. Now, see, when you deplete her of her health after the first phase, you're gonna see me click on this little Dragonkin Artifact 1. It's in the middle of the screen, and you also see above her health bar there's a little crystalline-like figure. It's orange now. That means this artifact is ready to be clicked. You cannot damage the Queen Black Dragon in this phase, and she will actually spawn grotworms until you click this artifact. So click that as quickly as possible. And little note: if you aren't full adrenaline, go ahead and hit Anticipation if you have it ready. That'll fill you up a little more, because for the second phase you're going to need full adrenaline. So let's get to it. Okay, so now, like I said, full adrenaline, not stamina, because this is the phase 2. You're going to be using your Berserk ability, the ultimate. So, and you're just going to keep. It's kind of like phase 1. You're just going to keep spamming those basic abilities until you have Assault. Use Assault, and then take it from there. Okay, so now here is another one of her special abilities. So this is where she spawns the Tortured Souls, which you may have heard about. This appears purple in the chat box, so it's easily identifiable. You're not going to be you don't want to stare at the chat box when you're fighting her. You just want to have it in your peripherals. Because you're just going to be identifying these special abilities based on color. Like I said, red is Fire Wave. Purple and Tortured Souls, and there's one more I'll get to later on. So anyways, when she spawns a Tortured Soul, it's going to spawn immediately next to you. On this phase, it's on the left of you, typically, unless you're as far to the left as possible, in which case it should spawn on the right, but usually you're going to be in the middle, just right in front of her nose. So it's going to spawn on the left of you, and the Tortured Soul will also spawn like a little chaos cloud, like one of those things in that room crafting mini game. I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be on the floor. It's going to be in a donut shape, and it's going to spawn under you. So the best way to take care of this is make that that tortured soul hit itself. And the way you're going to do this is the chaos cloud spawns on the floor underneath you the moment the tortured soul speaks. So what you're going to do is, when you see that tortured soul spawn, move your cursor, just before he spawns, move your cursor a little to the side of him, the other side. When he speaks, that cloud is going to spawn, so as soon as he speaks, move to the opposite side of him, and that cloud will follow you, because these clouds are like homing missiles, kind of, and it's going to go under the soul and actually hit the soul instead of you. Okay, so let's just watch that in slow motion real quick. I move my cursor as I see the message in the chat box. He spawns. I wait for him to speak. He speaks. I move. The cloud spawns. I start attacking QBD. The cloud hits the tortured soul, and we are good to go again. So, quick note: these tortured souls can spawn when they are already spawned. They can respawn, so you'll have to do that again. Don't think that because one spawned that another one can't spawn. So now here, once I've depleted her health on the second phase, you're going to see there's another crystalline-like figure. Oh god, there's another crystalline-like figure that has turned orange in up above there. So what you're going to do is this second dragonkin artifact is in this corner. It's right where I'm hovering my cursor. It's in the southwest corner. You're just going to run over here, across this bridge. Make your trip across this bridge as quickly as possible, because if you stand on that bridge for too long, you will take 1500 damage. So yeah, just run over there quick, activate it, and now here, another firewall. This is me demonstrating how to avoid it. You're going to want to move when it's right one pace ahead of you. So you're going to have to click a little earlier just because of the delay. And here's me demonstrating the running through it and taking it once. That's 750 damage. So it's actually kind of a hard technique to master at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. So now here is another section. This is when she starts siphoning health from her tortured souls. This is same color as her spawning the tortured souls, which can make it easily mistakable, but it's not as bad as her spawning the tortured souls, particularly in the fourth phase. You'll see why. So in this phase, she starts hitting her mages for, I think, 100 life points every game tick, which is about 0.6 seconds. And each 100 life points she hits, she is healed 200 life points. So a good thing to do if you have Hurricane or your Quake ability ready, or some ability that hits multiple targets at once, you're going to activate that so you can just stop the healing as quickly as possible. Like here you see me do the Hurricane, and that's the end of that. So keep fighting through this phase until she's dead. Get your adrenaline bar up to max again, because the fourth phase coming up now. Once you deplete her health, run to the final Dragonkin artifact. Well, I'm sorry, the second to last. Our Dragonkin artifact 3. It's in the southeast corner of the map. The light bridge will be white, so it shouldn't be hard to find at all. It's not like a maze or anything. Just run to that. Same thing as you did with the other one, that you run across that bridge as quickly as possible. And make sure, hit anticipation if you're not 100% adrenaline. Come back here and activate your berserk. This is what I'm doing right here. I activated my berserk, and you're just going to go ham bone. Just like phase 2, you're going to just activate all your basic abilities until you get assault, and hopefully you should finish her off with assault, because that can do up to like 5,000-6,000 damage just with the maul. I can't imagine it with Drygors. A quick note, by the way, this method is so much better. Killing QBD is so much easier with full Torva, Tetsu, and Drygors. Okay, so here is another part. She spawned on the fourth phase. She will spawn 4 torture souls instead of 2 or 1, like on the first phase. So this one is much harder to avoid, and they spawn randomly. It's not like this formation here. And by the way, there is a fourth one. It's just under my soul split insignia. so I apologize for that, but there are 4 here. And the best way to avoid this attack is to run the Chaos Cloud. The Chaos Clouds are going to clump up after a while, because they're homing clouds, if you will, homing donuts of evilness. So just run through the grot worms and through the tortured souls as much as possible until the clouds hit 1, and then you should be good to go, like I'm demonstrating here. See, they start to clump up. I'll get to everything that just happened in a second now. You see that right there, it hit the tortured soul. So now that I've gotten rid of that 4,000 plus damage that could have hit me on a tortured soul, you'll see 2 things happen. Firstly, the QBD turned this greenish purple color. That means she is resistant to physical damage and more vulnerable to magic damage, and vice versa. She has another ability like that where she turns blue and she's resistant to mage damage and more vulnerable to physical damage, which is awesome when it happens. It's like a mini parade or something for the QBD. Never mind. Finally, not the final, but in this corner here, you're going to want to turn your camera when you're fighting in the 4th phase here, so you can see both edges of this semi-sphere, if you will, and it's more like a circle. So you can see this tortured soul that spawned in the bottom right corner here. This one is different from the others. It's a 5th one, and this one is the time stop tortured soul that you may also have heard about. This one is very dangerous. If you do not kill it within, I want to say 7 seconds-ish, you will be unable to move for several seconds, and it is you will most probably die. So you prioritize. Kill this tortured soul as quickly as possible. If you have to tank some damage, just do it. Don't worry about your berserk. Just kill that time stop tortured soul. Now you see, since I didn't get her in that berserk time, which if you get lucky and you don't get those 4 tortured souls that spawn or something else, you can kill her in that berserk time with the assault. So here is the final ability. This one is also very dangerous, especially when paired with the time stop ability. This is where she gathers her strength to breathe extremely hot flames. This is also how you create the royal crossbow, by the way, is in this part. This attack can deal up to 5,850 damage and is this attack is also unavoidable. However, you can reduce that 5,850 damage to a minimum of 1,350 damage by simply moving to the side like I just demonstrated. So once you're in the clear now, pretty much. That's everything she does. So watch out for the tortured souls. Watch out for that extremely hot breath. And here I don't bother trying to not get hit by the walls at all, just because I'm so close to the end. I'll probably just end up taking less damage if I just did what I did. And there we go. So once you kill her, she's going to start spewing grot worms again. Run to the final Dragonkin artifact, the only one that you haven't touched yet. Activate it, and everything will die off. And this platform will be raised, this dais, kind of. And just go down there. You want to heal with your the little heart ability. I don't know what it's called, or this Blessing of Gothics if you have it. And get your Ring of Wealth on and open up the Dragonkin coffer, and Merry Christmas. Just a little side note before I go, I want to thank Alex Shine Productions, a link to his video in the description, for originally teaching me how to QBD. He didn't teach me personally. I watched his video and I kind of went off of that and made my own setup. So, okay, everybody, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope my guide was of some help in any way. And if you have any questions, for any further questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a little thumbs up. It helps me out. Hey, if you are interested in more guides or any random commentaries I'm going to be making in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button too. So, thank you all for watching, and have a good day.